Bascom had a really good announcement today with North Central Electric. Great partnership you have with them. Got a $3 million grant to help start the process of broadband. We spoke several months ago at Seneca East about the dream and vision that you had, and it's starting to become alive. Can you explain more about how this process is happening with Bascom and North Central Electric and what this could mean for everyone in the entire area with broadband internet?
Yeah, the vision's starting to come to fruition. So it's a very ebbs and flows. So there's days where this feels like this is taking forever, and then there's days where this is all coming like an avalanche. But in the overall in the area, the goal has been, and the vision has been, let's get ubiquitous fiber coverage to all the places that need it. And that's what we're still going for. That's what we're shooting for. And I think we can hit it now. So with the collaboration, we've been able to sit there and say, okay, how do we get from point A to point B? And the collaboration gets us to that point. But then we need to go to point C. And point C is where Broadband Ohio and others come in. Obviously, I've said many times, if this was easy and cheap, somebody would have done it already. We would have done it already. But it's hard. And to do that, you have to have that community mindset, because this is not something that's going to pay off in 2 years. This is something that's a 20-year plan. So it's not going to take 20 years to do, but it's probably going to take 20 years to pay off.
And the announcement today, people will probably be calling your office. But do you have a timeline of like when this starts to be happening, so the folks out there that are watching this would kind of know how long it could take for this to all come into play?
Yep, this is the backbone. So we are going to serve people off of this backbone, approximately 1,600 people along this route. But this sets us up to get everything else to expand from there. So we'll start with the 1,600. We're hoping to have that started. We're in the process of finalizing vendors. With those negotiations, we're working on the final engineering plans and things like that. We still have to work with some of the local governments and townships to verify, they don't have any issues with anything that we need to get around. But until then, we're hoping to start the project towards the end of the year. It will take a while to do. At most, we're hoping to get it done before a 2-year span. We're ambitious that it can go faster than that. Up to that point, though, we will start building out from there. So once we get these nodes in place and everything set up on the back end, we can start doing other expansion. So it is just, at the end of the day, unfortunately, we don't have a great idea yet, but there's still, we've got $3 million, which is awesome. We're gonna start with that. It is still a $9 to $10 million project, so we've got to finalize those funding gaps also, what we can do, and keep moving forward from there. But we're hoping to start this by the end of the year.
And to get this $3 million grant, we spoke to Ohio broadband chief that was here today. He said it was a very, very, very competitive. So the fact that you were able to get to $3 million is a huge accomplishment for not only Bascom Communicaitons, but his office and everyone in North Central Electric that played a role into getting this grant.
Yeah, there's a lot of area throughout Ohio. Ohio has a lot of coverage, especially in the urban areas, but there's still a lot of gaps. Even in our area, I mentioned during the presentation that 74% of those 1,600 at the time from the FCC maps lack that 100 by 20 minimum broadband number. And we're not the only ones. There's all those areas in Appalachia. There's areas in the middle of nowhere. Heck, there's the Amish country areas that may not want it, but still not there. So you've got a lot of areas throughout Ohio that really want this money. The difference that we have is the fact that we are collaborating. So that collaboration is huge. Everyone wants to go it alone, and everyone wants to come in and be the hero. We don't have that. We've put that aside, and we're able to come together and say, what is best for the community, and this is how we do it. This also, like we have mentioned before, is phase one. So out of a multi-phase approach, this sets up the backbone for a much, 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 much larger picture. And that much larger picture put us into a camp that became a lot more competitive, but it also made us stick out. So.
Awesome.